There's this really great illustration about how much space we've given away to cars, but I made one minor change to make it a little more realistic. It is so common to see people parked on the sidewalk eating up the already limited space that pedestrians have. And the options that pedestrians have in most of the United States is already so limited because the US is so deeply car dependent. You have to have a car in most US places to be able to have a normal life. Go for a walk pretty much anywhere in the US and it won't be long before you see something like this. It may not seem like a problem to you, but if you had a movement impairment or you're elderly or you're pushing a stroller, this can be a huge hassle. While you are being a jerk when you park like this, it's also a symptom of just how deeply car dependent the United States is. This is a map that shows how people get to work in the United States by county, and that green color means by car. There's a yellow color that means by public transportation, and there's only one county in the entire country that is yellow. Maybe you can see that little yellow dot in the top right, but it's obviously New York City. A helpful way to look at it is this pie chart of how Americans get to work. 77% drive alone, and another 10.7% carpool, which is just more cars. Only 4.7 people in the entire United States use public transit to get to work, and that number is greatly skewed towards a few major metropolitan areas. Meaning that in most of the United States, driving alone or carpooling are your only two real options, and that's not a real choice at all. Having real agency and freedom of choice in your life is having multiple real options. When your only option is which type of car you drive, that's not a real choice at all. The real choice has already been made for you. You're just choosing which color and model you like so you can participate in a very rigid system. And I'm not even saying we should get rid of cars. I'm just saying cars shouldn't be this much of the pie. More people should be able to walk and take a train and take a bike if they want to, and still have a car if they want to. And this sort of thing is very, very achievable all over the United States. There are so many small, low-hanging fruits of areas that we can take space away from cars and give it back to people and other modes of transit. I guarantee you that in every city in the United States, there is a low-hanging fruit of a place like this that can be plucked and turned into a pedestrianized area. And all that's doing is taking that pie that's almost 90% cars and shifting it like maybe 1% in favor of walkability and other modes of transit. That seems totally fair to me. And making changes like this is much more beneficial to the environment than electric cars could ever dream of. This is a heat map of Paris since 2007 as they've been making these kinds of changes, and how much smog has been reduced. Electric vehicles are an improvement over normal gas cars, but cutting down the total number of cars in general is so much more impactful. That's because an electric vehicle still requires the same space as any car, and the space that we give to cars is not really a place where living things thrive. I genuinely think that the number one way we can save the world is by taking space back from cars and giving it to human beings and living things that can literally suck carbon out of the air. I don't mean the people. I'm talking about how this bike path is literally covered in plants. And I think there is so much power in local communities, big and small, just looking for those low-hanging fruits of places that we can take back space from cars and give them to people. Even if it's something as seemingly benign as turning a single parking space into a little parklet, if we did this all over the country, it would be revolutionary.